We'll call to order the February 3rd, 2022
Are you
meeting of
hearing
the
now?
Ellettsville Plan Commission. Dan, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
United States
of
of America,
to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
and
and
justice
justice
for all.
for all.
Okay, now that
I
was
don't think I've ever heard that.
Okay, Denise, could you do roll call, please?
Sure. David Drake,
Here.
Dan Swafford,
Here.
Terry Baker,
Here,
Don Calvert,
here,
Sandra Hash,
Here.
Pamela Samples,
Here.
Pat Wesolowski.
here.
Thank you.
Okay, well, the first item on our agenda is the election of officers. Do we have any nominations for president?
I'd like to nominate David Drake to continue next year too, please.
I'll second that.
Okay, I guess that leaves me with no choice. Okay, do we have any other nominations? Hearing none, all those for David Drake for president.
David, we have to do a roll
Yeah,
call.
that's what I
vote.
was just, that's what I just realized mid-sentence.
Sorry.
Okay, roll call, please.
David Drake,
Yes.
Dan Swafford,
Yes.
Terry Baker,
Yes,
Don Calvert,
yes,
Sandra Hash,
Yes.
Pamela Samples,
Yes.
Pat Wesolowski.
yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next step would be vice president. Do we have any nominations?
I nominate Dan Swafford as vice president.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any other nominations? Hearing none, Denise, roll call, please.
David Drake,
Yes.
Dan Swafford,
Yes.
Terry Baker,
Yes,
Don Calvert,
yes,
Sandra Hash,
Yes.
Pamela Samples,
Yes.
Pat Wesolowski.
yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Do we still nominate a secretary? I forget.
No, Denise is the permanent secretary now.
That's what I was thinking, but I had a strange thought there for a minute. Okay, so next item on the agenda is approval of minutes from November 4th, 2021.
Can that be a motion to table, please?
Okay. Someone want to make a motion?
I move we table the November 4th, 2021 minutes.
Second.
Who seconded?
Pat and I did both.
Okay, thank you.
So that's thirded. Okay. Denise, roll call.
I hate to interrupt. Go ahead.
Okay. No, go ahead.
I need Dave and Terry to keep working on their video because the statute says you can participate by Zoom only if you can be seen and heard. So keep working on your video.
Okay, well, the only thing I can think of to do at this point is log back out and log back in. So I will go away and I will try to come back.
Who's running this? Sandy, are you?
Yes, and someone wants in and I've got to figure out how to get back to my participants.
Darla, question.
Yes,
Since
yes.
this is a Zoom only meeting and not the hybrid type that was passed in the ordinance, do they still have to be on camera?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
I still don't have any video.
no.
Did it ask you to join with video?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, well, there's one other thing I can do. I'll just have to log back in again with my phone instead. So hang on.
Is Terry participating by his phone?
No,
Oh,
But he doesn't have audio or video on his computer.
oh, I see.
So Darla, if he doesn't have video, can he still vote or do we skip him?
Well, let's see what he can do here in the next few minutes.
No, I'm talking about Terry.
Okay. So he can't get on at all?
He doesn't
No.
have video on his computer.
Well,
we've been doing it
I
in the
mean, I would
past.
say he can't vote then. Well, you can only do it if you should be able to be seen and heard when you're participating by video.
Well, you know, Darla, he has participated before and he's never had video. And this is the first time you've ever told us this. Not that it's not correct. I'm just saying
Well-
that we weren't aware of it until tonight.
Well, I mean, I don't remember not seeing Terry, but I guess I don't always get the gallery view. So
And that's the thing,
Um,
not,
we'll
most-
do it tonight, but I think we'll need to fix that in the future. I mean, part of it could be just the weather. I mean, it's just not conducive to getting a good picture or sound, but
and when we share a document, you know, it takes away most of the participant screen.
right.
I'm still working on it.
Okay.
I had to
well,
try-
Just,
I had to try a different phone.
okay, well, let's just continue tonight. We'll just have to see if we can fix it before the next meeting.
Yeah, it never occurred to me that this wouldn't work because I do work meetings on here all the time with Zoom. I can't get, for some reason, it won't even let me log into the meeting on my phone. Maybe it's because I'm already
Okay,
on there. I don't know.
well, okay, well, let's go forward with both Dave and Terry tonight, and we'll see what we can do before the next meeting.
I can assure you that I'm here.
I
Even if you-
understand. I believe you.
Okay,
Okay, we're getting ready for the roll call vote
were
on
we?
the motion to table the
Oh, yeah.
minutes.
Okay, go ahead.
David Drake,
Yes,
Dan Swafford,
Yes.
Terry Baker,
Yes,
John Calvert,
Yes,
Sandra Hash,
Yes,
Pamela Samples,
Yes.
Pat Wesolowski.
yes.
Motion carry. Thank you.
okay, next item on our agenda is the monthly conflict of interest statement. Does anyone have any conflict of interest regarding what we're going to discuss today, which is only one petition at 5050 West State Road 46? Hearing none, we have no old business. New business is request for development plan approval for 5 self-storage buildings at 5050 West State Road 46. The petitioner is Doug Duncan, case number PC 22-01. Kevin.
All right. Thank you and good evening. Glad everyone could join us tonight on such a beautiful day. Not much to the meeting. The only case we have is a development plan request. This is to add 5 self-storage buildings at 5050 West State Road 46, to be directly north of the self-storage building that was built earlier, well, this 2022, I guess last year. The new buildings, like I said, there'll be 5 total, I believe 112 units combined. 3 of those are 4,800 square feet, one's 8,000 square feet, and one would be 1,200 square feet. This did go through tech review with the town. Really no concerns were brought up at the tech review meeting, other than I think adding a fire hydrant, and that has been taken care of on the plans. It's been noticed, this hearing's been noticed by mail and, oh, I need to change that. The Herald Times, not the Ellettsville Journal. That'd be a little difficult. Parcel zone C3 general commercial. Storage units are permitted use in this district. As with all development plans, there are 11 criteria for the Planning Commission to consider, which I can very briefly go over. Compatibility with surrounding land uses. It's permitted by right. There's already storage units there. So I think that fits right in. Compatibility of the development plan with the recommendations of the comp plan. This is recommended for commercial use, that fits in as well. Adequate provisions for internal management of traffic. Drive aisles should be plenty wide for all vehicles to get through for the new building, so there shouldn't be any issues with that. And all the traffic will funnel on Seasons Drive. I imagine out to 46, if they really want to, they could go north up through Autumn Ridge, but I don't see that happening. Could, but probably not. Infrastructure will be included on site as required. Stormwater and erosion control are covered in the plans. Those have been reviewed and approved. Allocation of land for streets, parks, schools, etc. Really not applicable. Seasons Drive has been completed and does connect Autumn Ridge State Road 46. There should be a sidewalk running along the entire length of it. Green space and landscaping, there were no additional provisions for landscaping on the set of plans. There was landscaping around the outside of the original building that's on that site that was built last year. And it kind of runs around the perimeter of these new buildings that we're looking at tonight. Same with buffering, nothing's been added, but the buffers that were put in previously run around the perimeter of the property to the north and east. And there's also a pretty significant difference in elevation from where the buildings are to the residential properties north and east as well. I think the residential areas are, from what I remember looking at the plans, about 25 feet higher. So they'd be kind of looking down, and there are some trees that have been planted that are already buffering. Where are we at here? Limestone structures, nothing on site, and sidewalks have been put in on Seasons Drive. And that should have come out. Oops. All right. Just the location, the yellow rectangle, that's the approximate area of where the new buildings will go. Blow this up a little bit. These are the 5 buildings. This is the 8,000 square foot building, be farthest north. And I believe that will be used for vehicle storage. And I'll let the petitioner get into that a little bit more. And the other 4, there's a small 120 by 10 foot building, and then the 3 4,800 square foot buildings. And those will run right up to the parking lot for the existing building.
Kevin, where's the small building?
The small building is just south of the northernmost building. It kind of blends in with everything. I don't know if you can see my mouse or not
Yes, I can.
on there. It's right there.
Okay.
And how about the big building, Kevin, that's gonna store vehicles?
Yes.
Are you saying they're gonna store them inside?
Yes, that I believe is the plan. Yeah, there's no outdoor storage part of this, so they're,
Really?
from what was
Will they-
discussed at tech review, they're gonna be large bays.
So campers
let-
could fit in there?
I think so. I'll let the petitioner talk a little bit more about that, because I don't have those details yet. But that, I think, was the idea at our tech meeting. What we got here? Just kind of some pictures of what these should, could, would look like.
Is this the same petitioner that has the other buildings, Kevin?
Yes.
Thank you.
So,
These all have doors on them. Those renditions are just
yeah,
open.
yeah, they'll all, yeah, yes,
Okay.
they will. And they're all going to be accessed from the outside, unlike the other building where it has the interior access.
Okay.
And these are pictures I took from before because I wasn't able to get out there in the past couple of weeks for various reasons. Kind of showing the area where the new buildings are going to be on the back part of the lot.
How far will they be in feet from the back edge of that lot to the tree line there?
Let's see if I can. I don't know if I can zoom in enough on this to show or not. So you got the buffer yard up here, and then there's the additional land here, and I don't look on the site plan. I don't know if it has the dimensions on here, or if it's something I measured at work. No, I don't know how far it is. I mean, the building is 160 by 160 by 50. Yeah, 160 by 50. So you figure this building up here is 50-foot wide. That's got to be between 75 and 100 feet off the property line. At least it may be, yeah, probably about, I would say close to 100 feet. It's well, I mean, it's well outside of the setback.
Is that topsoil piles gonna stay there?
No, that's just during grading. That's, we're required to have those shown on the grading plans where they plan to
Okay,
stockpile soil.
thank you.
If there's no other questions, I can turn it over to the petitioner.
I've got a question, please.
Sure.
On the map, the blue line represents their property line. Is that correct?
Yeah, let me go back to that. Yes.
Okay, well, the blue line on the west runs right through our fire station.
Yeah, it's not exactly 100% correct. It should be over to the line should be over to the right a little bit. This
Can you define
was,
a little bit? Will it come off of our town property?
well, this is off of Elevate. These lines aren't these aren't the legal lines. They should be close, but some of them aren't. So I that's been looked into. It does not run through. The line runs off the edge of the parking lot.
We had to give them an easement for a part of Seasons Drive because it was on town property. So
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure that, you know, the fire station and the parking lot for the fire station are okay.
Okay,
That actually came up at the tech review for the first building that went there. So that's already been checked in. We run into this all the time on Elevate where lines aren't drawn correctly. It's just part of it.
Hey, did anybody else from the Planning Commission have a question for Kevin? Hearing none, would the petitioner like to speak? Is the petitioner on there? I can't tell who is on here.
The engineer is, I don't see Doug Duncan, so I don't know if he is on and I'm missing him.
Yeah, who is that?
This is AJ Willis from Bynum, Faneuil and Associates. I'm here with Doug Duncan.
Okay,
Yeah, I can just talk a little bit about the project. Having covered a lot of it. The drainage for this project matches the drainage design that's previously approved. We matched the old drainage patterns from the original church design. We checked additional flood routing for the 100-year flow around the parking lot areas to ensure that all buildings are safe. I know you guys talked a little about buffering. There is some existing buffering that has been done in the past at the north and the east to kind of block that residential area. I know there was a question earlier about how far that pavement was from the building or the property line in the north. That is about 100 feet from the property line. And Doug can talk a little bit more about the project.
Yeah, hi, this is Doug Duncan. And first of all, I want to start out, whoever asked the question about the property line and the fire station, I'm like you, when I bought this thing, I thought, oh boy, I bought me a fire station, but it didn't turn out quite like that. That line is just, it's not at all accurate. And there was I think some trading around with the church earlier on. So yeah, it's clearly, I don't own part of your fire station. But the thing I wanted to talk about was just to make the point that we are going to have on the west side of these new buildings, the four southern buildings, we're going to put a brick facade halfway up on the east side. So from the road, it'll have a little nicer look than just a regular metal building. We wanted to do that just to make the whole project look a little bit nicer. And then the one issue that I wanted to mention is, I know we've met in the minimum landscaping requirements at the last meeting, but I would tell you, I'm like everybody else. I'm always concerned when something new comes in the neighborhood and disrupts it. We want to be a good neighbor. We will take a look at that 50 by 1, the big building, 50-foot wide building that's 100 foot off the north property line. We'll go through there and check again this spring and reevaluate. We've had a couple, I think, of those pine trees die up there along the property line. We will replace those, but what we will be willing to do or want to do is we'll have some landscaping. If you look at the northwest corner where our property sort of interfaces with the residential area, they're building those new condominiums or something there in the corner. We will landscape that. I will put some kind of landscape buffer between our property there at the northeast or northwest corner of our property, just to soften the impact of bringing that against the residential. And then, I can't commit at this time, but when the front, and we're trying to hold that front outlot, 1.25 acres, we will reevaluate there along 46. But for right now, where it's going to impact the residential, we're going to do something, some landscaping there to soften that corner.
Does your facility have hours of operation?
Well, we have it on. We're one of the few that has on-site management, and yes, we have an office that's open from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and 9 to 1 on Saturdays. The office is closed on Sunday. Now, when the project's completed, it's fenced and gated, and there'll be only people that have units will have access codes to get in there. Because of I'm not going to blame the supply line problems, we have one gate operator that has never come in yet. We have not been able to close the gates at night to this point because we don't have an operator yet. And it's been a year. But when we get this all done, it will be fenced and gated, and only people that have units will be able to access the property after this office closes.
But will you restrict them and, well, at least ask them not to come in at night since you're so close to a residential area?
No. They'll have 24-hour access. Now, what you need to realize is that big building, the 50-foot wide building there, that's a boat and RV. Please understand, one of the things about a self-storage facility is it has very low traffic impact. It's not, people don't rent a unit and then come and go 3 or 4 times a month. Normally, they're back and forth 2 or 3 times to load up, and then if they come by once or twice a month, that's unusual. So there will not be much traffic in the whole facility, but in the building that you're talking about, and that building, you got to remember that building sits about 25 feet below the residential up there, and we're concerned and aware of light pollution, and there'll be light packs on the buildings lower with the lights going down, not shining up. So the light pollution will be minimal. And I think if you'd go stand down where that building is going to locate and look up, you couldn't see the houses from the pad.
Will there be
Does that
garage
make-
doors? Yes. Will there be garage doors on both sides of the big unit?
Yes, ma'am.
Is
But
the
it'll
other
be
units full? Is the original units full?
Oh, no, it was, but now, I mean, there's a cycle to this business. It gets busy in April. It starts in March, but it gets busy in April, goes through August, and we filled this thing right up, but we filled it up with, students and whatnot, and we will lose a third of our customers in about a 10-day period in August when school comes back, when the kids go back to school, the IU students come, everybody kind of settles in from moving around. And then it just sort of sits there, and, kind of your break even needs to be about 67% occupancy, because that's what you'll run in the winter a lot of times. We actually filled up in our full of the non-climate control, which is what we're building now. And I said at our first meeting, that we were going to have 2 more phases, and the market would tell us exactly what to build. So we filled up with the non-climate control units and have stayed full. I mean, functionally full, 95 to 100%.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anybody else have any more questions for the petitioner? Hearing none, do we have a motion? Or, I'm sorry, was there any public comment? I didn't see anybody on there, but okay, not hearing any public comment. Do we have a motion? Okay, well, hearing no motion, I'll make a motion that we.
Sorry, I was doing it, but I didn't know I was muted. Go ahead, David. Want to do it?
I'll make a motion that we approve the development plan for PC 22-01 at 5050 West State Road 46.
Second.
Okay, did Denise, did you catch who made the second?
I think it was Dan.
Yeah, I was one of them.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, so roll call, please.
David Drake,
Yes.
Dan Swafford,
Yes.
Terry Baker,
Yes.
Don Calvert,
Yes.
Sandra Hash,
Yes,
Pamela Samples,
Yes.
Pat Wesolowski.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, thank you. The next item on our agenda is a zoning discussion. Kevin, do you have anything for us?
Sorry, forgot to unmute myself. No, I don't have anything specific. One of the things that's been talked about this year, and I think will come up at one of the council work sessions, is a comprehensive review of our zoning. I've been pushing to get a lot of things changed just to take out, and not so much context, but just the way it's written. I think there's a lot of things that aren't very clear, lots of things that we need to clean up in there. I know we'd start talking about permitted uses before Christmas. That's definitely something else that I think we need to take a better look at, make sure we have the right permitted uses in the right zones. So not really much else besides that. So I didn't know if anyone else had anything that they wanted.
How about
Bring up-
landscaping? How about landscaping? Do we have
That
any?
is, we have no requirements other than our development plan section says there should be some.
Don't you think we should have requirements?
I think that's a discussion to be had.
and how did we feel about the commercial under the apartments? Did we want to work on changing that?
I mean, that's something else that can be discussed or even done as an ordinance separate. I mean, that is up to the planning commission and the town council.
Well, I think we need to start somewhere and start working on these issues. So Kevin, how would you like to proceed? Would you, in next month's meeting, would you like to pick one item or maybe two and kind of whittle away at it?
That we could do that. I had mentioned at some point possibly having a joint meeting with planning commission and town council, although 2/5 of town council is already here,
Right.
just to try to get everyone on the same page. I don't want to spend a lot of time going through or going over different items with the planning commission and getting to council and it go nowhere. I don't think that does anyone any service. But it really comes down to, is this something we want to work on piece by piece or make a wholesale change and just fix everything at once? Or I think where to start at is really figuring out, and this is, I don't know how to exactly want to go about it, but what areas do we need to look at the most? I mean, where are the problems in our ordinance? And this goes to the subdivision chapter as well.
And I know it's cumbersome, but would it be a good idea just to maybe start with the portion and read over what there and take suggested changes, or how do you want to go about it?
Well, because me, for one, I think if you get too involved in too many things, it goes nowhere. So that's why I say just tackle one or two things, at a time, because we don't want to spend 6 hours on something. Like you said, the council veto it. So, Darla, what about a joint meeting? Can we do that?
You can, as long as you advertise it,
Okay, but we can't.
treat it just like any other.
You cut out. I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, you can do that. You can do a joint meeting as long as you advertise it as a joint meeting and treat it like any other regular meeting. Or the other thing you could do is you could have not a quorum of each group, but a couple, three from each group, or two from the council, and less than a quorum of the plan commission sit down and talk together. I mean, that's another way to do it.
Well, I brought that up at the last meeting, and Scott was not in favor of that sort of arrangement. So, and I don't know if he was alone when he mentioned that, or if someone else agreed, but they did not want little side subgroups, I guess. So I think if we're going to do it, we all need to be there and go from there. And so we couldn't make any kind of motions or anything like that, correct? Would it be like a work session?
If it's advertised as it, that would probably be better, because I think if you're trying to do motions and pass things, I think it's going to be too awkward with two entire boards there. But just to
Right.
have two entire boards just discuss and have a work session and get a feel, take the temperature in the room and see where everybody's at, I think that would work better.
Yeah, I agree. So, Kevin, do you want to kind of bring a topic to us at the next meeting? And everyone else, anything else they want to see, and kind of have a pre-meeting before we have the work session? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think my thought was it'd be more like a work session than anything, and just kind of iron out some things before we move forward. What I want to know is what the plan commission sees as problems, or things they want changed, or where even, just things that could be better. And I have a whole list of things, and I think the end result is I really want, and then I don't know if this will happen or not, but I'm trying to put together the money to have a company come in and just redo our ordinance from start to end. I think that is going to save us some time in the end, because there's so many little things that need changed here and there. It's going to take forever piecemealing it, and you always run into the issue of things contradicting each other, or something doesn't get updated in one section where it should. I think we've gotten to the point where we just need to start over. I mean, I'm not saying content wise we don't want to keep things we have, but just the way it's written, start over and make it clean.
How much would a service like that cost? I mean, do we have money in your budget for that?
No, not in mine. I haven't priced it out. I want to say 50, 75,000.
Yeah, I thought it'd be quite expensive.
So, and I've been talking to town manager about that as well. So I don't know exactly where that's going to go, but
Well, anyone else? I mean, what do you got? David, what do you think?
No, that's fine. I mean, I think that we do all need to sit down and talk if we're going to make changes, because there's no sense in us making changes and then the council not liking them. But I also agree that we need to have some focus on what we're doing and not just sit down and say, okay, let's go over the whole
Right.
landscaping ordinance and because then we're not going to get anywhere.
Yep. I agree. I think, like I said before, if you just start piling everything on, it gets overwhelming and we get nowhere. So,
But I
And
do
it
think also that we need to give Kevin some direction about things that we might have issues with, as opposed to just kind of throwing it all out there.
I agree. Do you want to do that through email, Kevin, or because I think it kind of puts everyone on the spot right now, unless people are ready to say.
Oh, no, I wasn't really expecting anything tonight. I just wanted to get this discussion started. So, you know, if anything pops in your head, email it to me, email it to the group. My thought, first thing we should do, I think, would be look at the permitted uses. And I think that's kind of where we started at towards the end of last year. And really giving those a good hard look at what we want to allow in specific zones. And whether or not you think our zoning matches it right now. I don't know that it does.
I agree with you, Kevin, on that. That would be a good place to start.
Okay, does anybody else have anything they want to say about that, or anything for Kevin? Okay. Hearing none, our next meeting is March the 3rd, which hopefully we'll be able to have that in person as opposed to Zoom. Next item is privilege of the floor. Is there anyone from the public who wants to address the Plan Commission on anything that we did not have on our agenda tonight?
David, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Russ Ryle. When you approved, and I wanted to bring this up as under privilege of the floor deliberately, not under the debate on the plan we just approved, because it's broader than just one piece of property. When you approve a storage unit or something under C3 zoning, whether you've got, basically a bare space, under our zoning, what precludes, if anything, somebody from being there overnight or for several nights and effectively trying to live in that space? My first thought was you've got campers, you're going to have complete camping units sitting there. Is there anything would they be permitted to live in their camping unit while in that storage building?
No. We have it in our code. You cannot live in a temporary space or recreational vehicle or anything like that. So that they would not be permitted to do that.
Okay, so we've already got it in our plans, in our code, that you cannot reside in a storage unit or a temporary non-residential unit.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Seeing none, I'm open to a motion to adjourn.
I got one thing yet. I'm sorry. Kevin, my wife and I were on Poplar Street yesterday, I think it was. And I didn't get the address of the house because I couldn't see it. It is a mess. There must be 30 or 40 lawnmowers in the front yard.
Is it at the end down towards the school?
Yeah, it's kind of like at the end of the street, more or less.
Yeah, yep. Denise has been out and got pictures of it. We're running a little behind since I've been out of the office since the middle of January. But yeah, we're getting on that soon.
Okay, what's happening with the other one that went to court?
Well,
We
I
are
don't know.
supposed to have
you-
a meeting on Monday.
I'm sorry, I
We're
didn't
having
hear.
a meeting on Monday. We're having a meeting on Monday with Mike Carmen and Mr.
Uh-huh.
Lowers and Kevin and I. And we're going to discuss things to see if there's a resolution that we can all agree on. If not, we'll enforce the court order.
And how was that enforced?
Denise is going to
Well,
go over and
we
tear it
have an
down with her bare
injunction.
hands.
I'm gonna bring my
We have
tractor.
a-
in and plow
we
it
have-
down.
We have an
I'm sorry.
injunction, and we also have what's called a continuous enforcement order. So if Mr. Lowers doesn't abate or remedy the situation to the town's satisfaction, the town can clean it up and send him the bill and put it on his taxes.
Okay, thank you.
He'll have to pay it as part of his taxes.
Thank you.
And I believe Monday is the last day for the judge to rule on the motion to correct error that he filed. So if the judge doesn't rule on Monday, it's deemed denied. And then Mr. Lowers has 30 days after that to file his notice of appeal.
And that's the last appeal he could file?
Well, I mean, he could go to the Court of Appeals, and if he loses there, he could petition for transfer to the Supreme Court. So he's got 2 shots at it.
So it could be all summer then, look like that again. Basically.
Well, no, unless he posts a bond, we can go ahead and do cleanup. We don't have to wait on him to clean it up just because he's appealing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are we ready for a motion to adjourn now?
I wanted to just do a public service announcement. We did get an email from Mike Farmer, the town manager, that the town hall will be closed again tomorrow to allow the utilities and street department to work on the streets and stuff tonight, and then they'll get to the town facilities tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Hopefully it's supposed to stop snowing sometime around midnight, but we'll see. Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, do we have to take a roll call for that?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh.
because you're on Zoom.
Okay,
Are you ready?
yes,
David Drake,
yes,
Dan Swafford,
Yeah, I guess.
Terry Baker,
Yes.
Don Calvert,
Yes.
Sandra Hash,
Yes.
Pamela Samples,
Yes.
Pat Wizolowski.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thanks.
okay, we're adjourned till next time. Thank you, everybody.
Good
Be
night.
careful out there.
All
Be
right.
careful out there.
Stay in.
safe.
Stay warm.
Everybody stay safe.